Texas, 90.1 KERA, Dallas, Fort Worth, Denton. Good morning to you. I'm Jamie Jackson.
This is one of the last times Jimena Lopez will ever make her way into downtown Dallas to go to work. She's an endocrinologist who treats and comforts transgender teens. But her job has now effectively been criminalized, turning her life upside down.
I'm sure I'll cry. I'm sure I'll see moms crying. Not all my patients know I'm leaving. It's hard.
At the end of next month, Lopez and her family will leave Texas and move to California. It's not their choice.
SB 14 fights to stop puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and mutilating surgeries.
Earlier this year, after an emotional and for the trans community ultimately demoralizing debate at the Texas legislature, the state prohibited the program Lopez has long offered.
SB 14 has passed the third reading.
A key sticking point for critics, the use of medication that blocks puberty in transgender teens.
I mean, I felt like, things were evolving with society, with progress, and now we're going backwards. I never thought it would dissolve like this. Hello.
It was back in 2015 when these images were taken that CBC News first met with Lopez. Then it was early days for her clinic in Dallas. Here, she's checking in on young Evan Singleton, a transgender boy. Evan, then just 12,
Can I see your implant?
always knew he was a boy. Her program helped him and his parents grow into that person. 8 years later, Texas is shutting it all down.
The movers have not come in yet.
In her now near empty home, Lopez says she feels hopelessness, sadness, anger.
This is your family?
Yeah.
Protesters have called her a child abuser, a Nazi, said that she should die in hell. Her house is set to be sold.
The whole state has become crazy. I don't have any other words to explain it. My passion is to provide gender-affirming care to transgender youth, and that has been one of the most important things I've done in my life. And it's become impossible to do that safely.
Is it the case that you're worried about your own family's safety?
So I don't feel safe, especially with so many people with guns and people that have gone to protest against me or our clinic. Some of them have been armed. And I don't know. I'm afraid of leaving my son home alone. And I don't want to live like that.
Across the U.S., some 20 states have now banned what's known as gender-affirming care for those under 18. And throughout the country, nearly 500 state legislative bills have been put forward this year alone, all labeled by critics anti-LGBTQ. As for Texas, Lopez is blunt.
A state that is right now full of hate.
Caught in the crosshairs,
You and Nana.
her young trans patients.
Oh yeah, this is trying to give you a dump truck set and everything. You could have cared less.
Outside Dallas are Kristen and her 14-year-old daughter, Audrey. They've asked that we not use their last names. Audrey is transgender.
Even at that age, she hated putting that jersey on, did not want to do that.
Always convinced that on the inside she was a girl, Audrey had her life changed by Lopez.
You're a girl.
Yeah.
You were born in a boy's body.
Mm-hmm. I don't think there is any other word to describe myself than a girl. I mean, like
For
online,
years,
there's
Audrey
stuff
had
online
been
that
bullied,
said-
afraid,
like
depressed, and yes,
people.
suicidal.
So it's just
Until
us. The first time that I met Dr. Lopez, I did think everything was going to change. I was very excited, yeah. Mostly I was
thinking about how nobody would ever say anything to me again. They would finally, I don't know, accept me.
When I was in public school,
Her treatment gave Audrey the courage to stand up in front of a crowd one day and defy a lifetime of bullying.
if you really don't like this, I don't care. But I am trans. I'm a trans female. I was born male and I identify as a female now. And
But as Texas now moves to end her treatment, her future is unclear.
We always had to keep fighting.
Her family in agony.
When Audrey was born, that was my firstborn son, right? And that was, a proud moment for a dad. And so, sorry.
Audrey's parents, proud, loving, and now fully supportive, weren't always so sure. Christian conservatives, Trump-voting Texans, as Audrey struggled, frustrated, no one believed she was a girl, her dad, Wes, and her mom, Kristen, sought help.
She was so depressed, it was getting to the point where she's going to hurt herself. This counselor came in, I will never forget, she sat down in front of me and she said, if you and Dad do not get on board, the chances of her committing suicide are very high. And this was at the age of 9.
Yeah, 9 years old.
And I was like, I came home, told him, I'm like, we have to do something because I don't know what to do anymore.
The day we started all the puberty blockers and stuff like that, I can tell you that was a different kid. Night and day. Night and day, different
excited.
Kid. It gave us so much hope to get her to that point, to get her to the next stage in life and those things. 'Cause I don't think without it we would get there.
I don't think she would be here if we hadn't done something.
People just really don't get it.
But now, politics.
What are your hopes and dreams, and what are your expectations given what's happening right now?
Hopefully something changes. I don't know what it will be. Maybe a new governor that is not at all homophobic, transphobic, any of the above.
If by now you're wondering, what about the long-term effects of this treatment? Does it really help? Well, on that, consider the clinic's very first patient.
You sit up.
Remember Evan Singleton, the trans teen who invited CBC into the clinic with Lopez back in 2015 as he was transitioning? Well, this is Evan now. 21 years old, bearded and broad-shouldered. His treatment has long since finished. He self-describes as a trans man. How are you feeling?
I feel great. I mean, I'm doing good. My gender is kind of exactly where I like it to be.
Evan tells us Lopez allowed him to be him. She turned his life around with treatment now taken away from those who, like he did, need it.
I think Texas is so scared that they want to protect children, that they're not listening to the science that protects children. I'm an adult, and I do not regret my transition, and I am scared at what could have happened without it.
So I just want to show you this.
My Evan! Oh my God, his hair is long.
Isn't it? What do you think?
He looks happy. He looks happy and adulty.
Adulty.
It's what Lopez wants for all of her patients, past and present, but frustrated for those in her care now with their treatment outlawed by the politics of transgender in Texas.
I mean, what kind of people do we have in power? Aren't they supposed to be there to protect the most vulnerable? Because these kids, amongst all the kids, are the most vulnerable ones.